NYC Parade Tragedy, November 27th, 1997, New York City. 33-year-old Kathleen Corona stood with her husband and young son among the crowds gathered for the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The air was cold and bright, and massive helium balloons floated between skyscrapers, drifting with the wind above the crowds. At around 9:30 a.m., one of the largest inflatables, a 72-foot cat-in-the-hat balloon, began to sway dangerously as it turned onto 72nd Street near Central Park West. Gusts of wind that morning reached over 40 miles per hour, well above the parade's safety limits. Handlers tried to control the ropes, but the balloon lurched sideways, its fabric twisting like a sail. As the balloon rose higher, it slammed into a streetlight pole. The metal arm of the light snapped loose, and the heavy fixture plummeted into the crowd below. It struck 33-year-old Kathleen Corona, a spectator standing with her husband and son. The impact fractured her skull, leaving her unconscious amid the chaos. Screams erupted as the balloon collapsed against a nearby building, its fabric deflating over police and parade staff. Corona was rushed to New York Presbyterian Hospital in critical condition and spent weeks in a coma. Miraculously, she survived, but suffered permanent brain damage. 3 other bystanders were injured by the falling debris. Following the accident, city officials imposed strict new parade safety rules. Balloons over a certain height were banned during high winds, and wind speed monitors were made mandatory for all handlers. Macy's later reached a confidential settlement with the Corona family. The Deep Fryer Fire, November 26, 1992, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Thanksgiving morning in Bridgeport started like any other. Inside a quiet suburban home, a family prepared for dinner: turkey, pies, and relatives on the way. But in the backyard, one mistake turned their celebration into catastrophe. The family's father had decided to try something new that year: a turkey deep fryer, recently popularized as a quicker, tastier way to cook. He filled the metal pot with several gallons of oil and lit the propane burner underneath. When the bird was lowered in, the oil overflowed. Instantly, flames shot upward, igniting the gas line and the wooden deck. Within seconds, the side of the house caught fire. The blaze spread through the kitchen window before anyone could react. Neighbors called 911 as thick black smoke rose over the neighborhood. Firefighters arrived in minutes, but the fire had already consumed most of the home. 2 children and their grandmother were trapped inside the living room. They did not survive. 3 others were injured, including the father, who suffered severe burns trying to rescue them. Investigators later confirmed that the fryer had been overfilled and used too close to the house. In the years that followed, deep fryer accidents became one of the leading causes of Thanksgiving Day house fires in the U.S. The Thanksgiving plane crash, November 30th, 2019, Chamberlain, South Dakota. It was the Saturday after Thanksgiving 2019. In the small town of Chamberlain, South Dakota, a Pilatus PC-12 sat on the tarmac, its cabin packed with 12 members of the same extended family. They'd gathered for Thanksgiving and were heading home to Idaho. The weather was bad: freezing rain, wind, and thick fog. But the pilot, 56-year-old Jim Hansen, decided to take off anyway. Within seconds of lifting off, the aircraft began to roll violently. Witnesses said the wings tilted sharply before the plane plunged into a nearby cornfield, just half a mile from the runway. The crash killed 9 people instantly, including Hansen, his brother, and 2 children. 3 survivors were pulled from the wreckage in critical condition. Investigators later found the plane was overloaded and coated with ice, both of which made it impossible to climb. What began as a family holiday trip ended in one of the deadliest small plane crashes in South Dakota's history. The Carbon Monoxide Tragedy, November 25th, 2021, Dallas, Texas. Thanksgiving night in Dallas was colder than usual. Power lines were down after a storm, and a family of 6 gathered in their small, single-story home, trying to stay warm while cooking their Thanksgiving dinner. Without electricity, they brought a gas-powered generator inside the kitchen. Just for a few hours, they thought. As the motor hummed, the sound mixed with the smell of turkey, candles, and faint exhaust. They opened one window slightly, believing that was enough. By midnight, the generator was still running. The house filled with carbon monoxide, an invisible, odorless gas. One by one, the family began to feel dizzy, then weak. They lay down, assuming it was exhaustion from the long day. But within hours, 3 of them had stopped breathing. The next morning, relatives arrived for brunch and found the front door unlocked, the generator still rumbling in the kitchen. Firefighters measured carbon monoxide levels over 700 parts per million, deadly within minutes. 3 family members survived, unconscious but alive. The others never woke up. Officials later confirmed a simple extension cord and outdoor setup could have saved their lives. Did you know the home cooking fires on Thanksgiving Day in the US jumped by approximately 300% compared to an average day? Thanksgiving safety tips. Never leave the kitchen unattended while cooking. Even a few minutes of distraction can start a fire. Keep turkey fryers outside and far from the house. Frozen or wet turkeys can instantly explode in hot oil. Use generators and propane heaters outdoors only. Carbon monoxide is odorless and can fill a room in minutes. Check your smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors. Most Thanksgiving tragedies happen because alarms weren't working. Keep kids and pets at least 3 feet away from hot appliances. Most injuries come from accidental spills and contact burns.